they still want me to come out of retirement and whoop on some people.
Sign a contract. Exactly, sign a contract. If he wanted to fight, he would have stayed at 47.
I said, I'm the best at 154. Everybody know it, and I'm gonna keep staying each every time out, you know?
Jaron Boots Ennis versus Terence Crawford. Boxing fans can't stop talking about this fight. The tension has now gone off. It started out as a fantasy game, but it quickly turned personal as Crawford lit up social media in ways no one saw coming.
What's up, y'all? And I woke up this morning feeling grateful, feeling thankful, feeling blessed. Man, I'm living a dream, baby. Living a dream.
In a number of posts, the unbeaten champion didn't just say he didn't want to fight Ennis. He went straight for the knockout, which made it seem like his fans wanted him to end Ennis' career before it even started. He then said something funny that went viral. Ennis couldn't even tie his shoes. Is that not enough? The answer came quickly. Fans, commentators, and warriors all joined the chat, trying to figure out if this was anger, the truth, or something more serious. Even though Crawford afterwards said that he didn't mean what he said directly to Ennis. The message had already been sent, and it hit hard.
He obviously said he wanted to move up in comments to be undisputed at 54 or something like that. So, yeah, he definitely did say that too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We ain't worrying about, right now we ain't worrying about Crawford. We gonna clean 147 now, then we gonna move to 154. If he there and he got a belt, we coming after him. Simple as that.
Because each group is reacting in its own way. What was once a dream fight now feels like unfinished business that is tense. But there is a lot more to this feud than meets the eye. This new wave of drama didn't just come out of thin air. It all comes down to a single question that has been going around in boxing for years. Why did things go the way they did if Crawford and Ennis had shared the ring? People were talking about this question again after Ennis said in an interview that he was sure he could have stopped Crawford if they had ever fought. It wasn't annoying or too loud, but it was loud enough to be noticed. Crawford's answer was quick, sharp, and hard to miss. People thought he avoided the fight, but he said that was not true and that the problem had been misunderstood from the start. But instead of leaving it at that, he added fuel to the fire by saying that Ennis would not only have lost the fight, but his rise would have been completely stopped.
And lose a draw, he's the ticket. I'll fight Terence Crawford. Come on, man. Boots had a chance to fight me. Virgil Ortiz had an opportunity to fight me, you know, but now everybody, I'll fight Terence, or I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, okay, cool. When y'all had y'all opportunity, you know, y'all went elsewhere. But now that y'all see I'm the ticket, now y'all like, oh yeah, we want to fight Terence Crawford. We want Terence Crawford. That's the narrative now. We want to fight.
We can get it on. So he says, what about you coming up? I said, no. I'm with Showtime. You know what I mean? I said, now, you want to make the fight? You call Steven Espinoza and talk to him, discuss that. Because that's who we with, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know? And when I said that, I said, plus I'm loyal to these guys. I don't just leave and go to another, promotional company or what.
Crawford even tried to take a big step back by saying that people were misinterpreting what he said and that his comments were not meant to hurt him. It didn't matter anymore, though. The headlines were already written. The films were already going around. The subject had already been brought up again. Did Crawford stay away from the most dangerous young fighter in the group? Or did he just move on to bigger problems? You need to go back and find out why this fight didn't happen. It wasn't always just talk. The idea was very likely to come true. Jaron Boots Ennis wasn't just another star to be. He was the best boxer in the world and was waiting in line to fight for Crawford's welterweight belt. The timing looked good. Crawford was the best in his class, but Ennis was a hungry, unbeaten contender who was knocking on the door. It looked like everything was going to work out just right. The powerful leader faces the unstoppable threat. But boxing rarely goes as planned, which is what fans expect. The IBF-required situation made a choice necessary, and that's when things changed. Moving up from welterweight to fight Ennis was risky for Crawford. He quit the whole category to take on new tasks with more weight. It was the right thing to do in terms of leaving a legacy, but it didn't solve one important problem. While this was going on, Ennis didn't stay. He went in a different direction and won the IBF title, starting his own rule. The story changed over the course of several months. Crawford was moving up the ranks and making his mark, while Ennis was becoming the new leader of the division. What could have been a major fight turned out to be a turning point that put them completely apart.
I'm trying to tell you, 154, man, it's mine. 154 is mine, and they're gonna see, you know, and they're gonna see, and just stay tuned. And like I said, when I handle business October 11th, you're gonna see.
But that choice took both fighters in a totally different direction. As the argument with Ennis moved into hypothetical ground, Terence Crawford stayed calm. He quickly moved into one of the best times of his career. The most important time was when he fought Errol Spence Jr. It was a long-awaited match that many people thought would test everything Crawford had built. Instead, it turned into a thought. Crawford did a lot more than win. He beat his opponents in every round, becoming the undisputed welterweight champion and one of the best boxers of his time. He didn't stay to protect his title against Ennis, though. He carried on, looking for new tasks and a bigger picture of the past. Middleweight for kids. He beat Israel Madrimov to win another global title, showing that his skills were not limited to one class. And just when it looked like he had done enough to leave a lasting impression, he did even more. Crawford shocked the boxing world when he stepped in to fight Canelo Alvarez, who is naturally bigger and stronger and is already the best boxer in the world. What happened next was not just a win. The showing wasn't what was expected.
Oscar USA and no Ring Magazine, an undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, Terence
Crawford came out on top as the clear winner at a heavier weight, adding to an already event-filled career. For many, that was the moment he stopped trying to be great and started being great himself. Jaron Boots Ennis was working on something completely different, but just as risky at the same time. Without the Crawford fight, he worked on himself inside, getting stronger and more dominant. Ennis is doing more than just winning now that he weighs 154 pounds. He wants to be in charge of a different department. There is a lot at stake in his upcoming fight with Zandris. The WBA and WBO belts are on the line, and he could become a joint champion at a new weight class.
Is all about two of the best in the 154-pound division squaring off for two versions of the 154-pound title.
Surprisingly, Crawford has backed Ennis to win the fight because he knows how good he is. Even after all the bad words, this is a rare moment of respect in a competition that is full of them. Even though they respected each other, the strain stayed. Crawford's words were angry, but Ennis's response was calm and sure of himself. When asked about the words, he didn't insult the person or make things worse. He laughed instead, not in a rude way, but as if it didn't matter to him at all. He made it clear that what other people thought, whether they were friends, critics, or even rivals, had no effect on what he did. The focus has not changed in his eyes. The mission hasn't changed. The most important thing is that his belief has not changed.
Hey, shooting!
That method was backed up by a simple but strong statement from Ennis. He thinks he is the best boxer at 154 pounds. And he plans to prove it every time he steps into the ring. It's hard to miss that difference.
I know you don't particularly care for what like Crawford says for the most part, but do you kind of feel like some of his critiques to you are like, I don't know, maybe like hate a little bit? I know online he recently said that Fendora's the best guy at 154. He said Fendora would beat you. What do you like to say on that?
I don't pay no mind though. That stuff be bothering me, but like I said, I'm the best at 154. Everybody know it, and I'm gonna keep standing each other every time out, you know?
Crawford is on one side. He has been tested, won awards, and isn't afraid to speak his mind, even if it leads to debate. But Ennis has a different vibe. He is quieter, but just as sure of himself, which lets his accomplishments speak louder than words. Boxing loves the traditional rivalry between the established king or queen who already rules the sport and the growing star who thinks it's his turn to take over. Exactly this change in tone is what keeps the discussion going. Because the story keeps going even though there isn't a contract or a fight date. Some well-known people are already taking sides behind the scenes. As the argument gets heated, some of the most important people in boxing start to make bold statements. Not all of them support Crawford. Eddie Hearn, who manages Ennis, was honest about what he planned to do next. So far, what fans have seen, he says, is just the beginning. He said that rumors from training camp showed that Ennis is much better now than he was at 147 pounds, faster, stronger, and more complete. Because of this, Hearn said something that caused a lot of discussion in the sport. He said that Ennis was going to be the pound-for-pound #1 in the future. Not in a few years, but maybe in the next 12 months. It didn't end there.
Just feel that Jaron Ennis against Terence Crawford is the fight. And that can be at 54, it can be at 60. Obviously we've got Lima to take care of first, but that for me is one of the great, crossover fights, because Boots is the changing of the guard guy. And Crawford's the guy that's been there and done it all and just proved, that he's still very much in his prime.
Hearn went even further and said that Ennis could do better than both Naoya Inoue and Terence Crawford. He painted a clear picture of a fighter who not only rules one weight class, but also goes through many others, winning belts and changing the rules as they go. In that time and place, Ennis is more than just a winner. His name is on the ring, and he will lead the sport forward after Crawford's time is up. It's a strong story that's quickly becoming famous. Still, not everyone agrees with the guess. If there is one place where this rivalry will not die, it is among the fans. Because people will always want the fight, even if it has to be stopped or moved. Every new article, tweet, or interview, along with every small insult, brings people back to the same point. There are still people who want it, and comment sections are full of people saying the same thing. Make it happen. This is more than just another war for them. This kind of competition marks the beginning of a new era.
Let me tell you something wild right now. I think Crawford should fight him right now if he's ever going to fight him. If he wants to, if Crawford has it in his mind to fight Boots, you might as well do it now. What did Floyd Mayweather do with Canelo Alvarez? Now Canelo was already an enormous draw, and that's the difference. Yeah. But he didn't wait till he got super old, and Canelo entered his prime. No, he got him right then.
The master, who has a lot of knowledge, goes up against the dangerous successor. And until it does, something will always feel like it's missing. But not everyone agrees with this. One more reason is that Crawford thinks the risk is greater than the advantage. Putting together a fight with a younger, more explosive fighter like Ennis doesn't add much to his past right now, but it could cost him everything. Years of dominance could be broken in an instant by one mistake or bad night.
Talking business right now, because if you're Boots, right? And I guess the thing for Canelo is, Floyd makes some good money there. Canelo had a nice following. Is there a super big following for Boots outside of just the boxing world?
That's what Matt's saying. The market is not that big.
I know, but what I'm saying is like, so the money was like, if I'm Crawford, would I jump out there and fight? Because Boots ain't no easy fight. Is the risk worth the reward? You know what I'm saying?
The answer right now is no.
I think Boots is probably a little bit bigger than we're giving him credit for commercially, especially after this performance. And I think if you fight Crawford, it would rise to a level. After Crawford's win over Canelo on Netflix, I think people do want to see this fight. Is it a mega fight? Maybe not, but I do think it's a very commercially viable fight.
After that comes the most controversial view. What will really happen if they fight? Some people think Ennis has the style, speed, and strength to beat Crawford and start a new era, which no one else does. Others quickly shot that down, saying Crawford's skill, timing, and ring IQ would reveal Ennis before he could get relaxed. There is no clear winner in this argument. Only stronger points of view and louder comments can be heard. And with each new battle, title, and big statement, the pressure mounts not only on the boxers, but also on the sport as a whole to offer something fans believe they have been waiting for too long. And just when things seem to be getting even more complicated, a completely different plot twist sends Crawford in a different way. Behind the scenes, important boxing people are already thinking about something bigger than Ennis. Turki Alalshik has publicly called for a rematch between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, which would be a very important fight that would be watched around the world. It's not just going to be run back. It has to do with history. Crawford's chance to win another race without any competition in a race that already seems over. This changes everything. Since Crawford has already done so much, the real question is not whether he will fight Ennis or not, but whether he will fight at all. There are big problems with what still needs to be proven. Will he come back from mega fights that will define his legacy? Is there nothing left for him to think about when he leaves?
I'm out here in Tokyo, Japan, just going on me a morning walk. I think it's more peaceful. My kids is great. My mom, my grandma, my sisters, nephews, nieces, they great. What more can I ask for? Hey, I done made it, baby. I done made it, baby.
Ennis is not waiting as long as there is doubt. He is moving forward, taking on new challenges, looking for titles, and making his own way in his job without depending on what Crawford says. With every step he takes, the gap between them grows not in terms of skill, but in terms of time. What looked like an inevitable conflict at first now looks like it happened a long time ago. A fight that made complete sense, yet not at the same time. One more thing to say. It looks like Terence Crawford versus Jaron Boots Ennis should have been the fight. The kind of event where the story doesn't need any hype because it's already good. Even after all these years, we're still talking about it instead of watching it. On the one hand, there was a fighter who made a name for himself by taking on and winning every challenge, then going the extra mile and exploring completely new areas. On the other hand, a rising star who is now at the top of his game, and many people think he will soon be the best in the sport. They have never quite matched up, though, and they probably never will. That is, the question stays. It just changes. Did boxing miss its best chance, or is this fight still waiting for the right time to blow up? The question of whether Crawford really dodged the risk that everyone talks about might be the most important one. Could he have just moved on to something else, leaving the argument to the other people? Feel free to write your thoughts in the space below. Okay, everyone. If you sign up for MMA Motive and turn on alerts, you'll never miss important news. Watch some of our other movies. Peace until next time.